exactly. Here she is, lovely Dawn Paul. Oh, just connecting to audio. Hello there.
Good morning.
Hey.
Hi, Sean. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Hi, Sonia. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Thank you so much for joining us. And I said to you yesterday, what do you want to talk about? And you said people keep talking about these strange times, and they are really strange times. Tell us about it.
Okay, well, as you know, I'm a shaman, so I'm a little bit more sensitive to energy.
Yeah, I should
most.
just give a decent introduction to Dawn, of course, because not everybody will have seen Dawn before, but she's a shamanic healer as well as a counsellor. And she comes with tremendous energy. Everybody's saying, good morning, Dawn. Grand rising, Dawn, says Freckles. They're all saying hello to you. I apologise. Go for it.
No problem, no problem. So I'm obviously more sensitive than most to energy, and normally I'm quite, even with my energy, quite good tempered. And last couple of weeks, I've been like a monster. I've like when you feel like a caged tiger. And a huge feeling of like nothing fits anymore, nothing's right anymore. I'm in the wrong life, I don't know, have you felt that? Have you, Sean's not nodding? And so it's been very, very intense with lots and lots of anger. So I thought it was just me, but it was kind of really odd because there was nothing had changed, in my life. So I realized that we had a portal opening on the 2nd of February, which is due to close tomorrow. And a portal is like a door to energy. So that energy has been bombarding us, and we have therefore raised in frequency. So we're now out of vibrational alignment with our lives, which is why we have this very odd feeling of not fitting anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I do feel a little bit out of sorts. Do you, Sean?
Yeah, definitely. I do in general, but definitely this week.
Well, I thought it was just me, and then I spoke to a couple of clients and they were like, oh my God. And then so now I'm saying to clients, are you feeling like this? And they're all, oh yes. So it's that caged tiger, everything's wrong type of feeling, and a huge feeling of like everything's ended. What I was doing before has ended, but I don't know where I'm going. So it's like we're in a limbo place in darkness, but it's about understanding that this is exactly where we're supposed to be right now. So if you imagine we want to be flowers, but the flower has to start as a seed, and the seed has to be in the darkness to swell, to grow, to make the shoot. Does that?
Yeah.
So we are with those little seeds at the moment, and what we're doing is we're fighting the darkness. Like, no, where should I be going? What should I be doing? Let me get rid of my husband, that sort of thing. My dog.
Don't be giving people ideas. My dog.
So it's really about being comfortable with the not knowing.
Right.
And knowing that, we are where we're meant to be. We are in the darkness, yes, but it's about trying to choose love over fear, as with everything on the spiritual path. Yes. So rather than going, oh, it's all wrong, it's about understanding that, we are in the right place. We've just shifted vibrationally. We've got to let everything rise up, basically, to come up onto our level. And the new will come. It will come.
How I mean, I don't even know how to articulate this. When that door opens to us and it gives us a potential new pathway and a new understanding, but we're in that sort of dark before the dawn, as it were. And so what is that sort of place? What is it we're learning in that?
Well, it's really about, I think the temptation is to go into the head and to go like, what am I going to do? Or maybe I need to change jobs and move house and go and live in Italy. And it's all here. It's all ego mind. And I think in the darkness, it's about going, inside and allowing ourselves to feel really what's in our hearts. But at the moment, the feeling that I get is that there's nothing there, which is kind of what's causing the issue. It's like, I know this is not fitting anymore, but I don't know what is. So as we develop on the spiritual path and we come closer to the divine, we have to become more and more comfortable with not knowing, with not understanding, the plans for us. So if we can just take the time to kind of like hibernate, to come inside into our little caves, to accept the void. You know, if you think about the void is the place where everything comes, all creation, all art, all poetry, yes, all inventions. So we're in that kind of space, and it's a little bit like, you know, the caterpillar going along, going into the little chrysalis, getting mullered, and then coming out as a butterfly. But humans try to avoid that bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've kind of got to go, we've got to almost
place.
relax into it and going, okay, well, you know, it'll be interesting to see what my wings are like when I come out the other side. Rather than I want them to be red, you know.
yeah, exactly. But Sean, you've actually gone through a very sort of public metamorphosis like this, haven't you?
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, I feel connected a lot to what you're saying, and it is about just by giving up control, you do kind of have control.
Yeah.
By not trying to manipulate so much around you, and I think that's one thing I've had to accept and just kind of say, you know I have a certain role to play in this battle, and then there's other people way above me that have got much more important stuff, and it does feel that I've always wondered why I had a certain amount of followers on Instagram. Like, my mate broke it down to me the other day, and he was like, you do realize that you've got like 2 Old Trafford football stadiums following you on social media. And I was like, I've never thought of it that way. Like, there's a lot of people that could fill 2 Old Traffords.
Which is also a lot of pressure, right?
Yes.
A lot of pressure, because it's like, what do they need from me? You know, how do I keep them fed almost, you know?
And a lot of opinions and a lot of
a
data.
lot of opinions, and and I think, but running, if I may pick you up on something, you know, you said, you know, what am I doing in this battle? You know, if you perceive it as a battle, it's going to be a battle.
Oh, wow.
You know, if we perceive it as, well, it is, it's whatever we think it is, you know. So and when we battle, we go into, you know, we become armored.
Yes, I think it's because people have been calling it a movement, and I feel like obviously it is a movement, but I do feel like I don't know, it's felt like a battle, let's say, then, for the last 2 years.
It has been a little bit, let's face it, it's been tough, but the reason that it's been tough is it's calling us really to come inside, because we can say it's tough out there, yeah, but out there is a reflection of everybody's in here. So we have to be the peace that we want to see out there. It's no good battling and fighting for it.
Yeah, I've been trying to kind of break down some of the things that I do as an adult and understand that actually a lot of it is based on childhood trauma.
Yeah, well, that's, you know, that's the focus of my work, really, because that really defines us, and then it creates patterns, and so we have to go back to that childlike state and heal it at that place, you know. But I think for now, you know, really it is about, as you said, going with the flow of life rather than against it. And because there is a plan, you know, you decided what you're going to do before you incarnated. So it's about trusting your higher self, trusting in a divine, whatever that is, you know, for you, and allowing the synchronicities to occur that allow you to go in that river of life, basically. And, you know, yes, there'll be twists and turns, and there might be shallows, there might be white water rapids, but it's just allow yourself to be almost like a leaf on the river. And be taken, rather than I'm going to go upstream, which is what a lot of us do.
Right.
Yeah, I've tried to do that a lot over the last month, and especially since joining this show, and I'm trying not to do loads straight away, because I feel like everything just came to me at once, and it was like, here's this opportunity, here's this, do this, and I will do them all and burn out next week. And I'm just trying to be like, okay, right, so this is the main thing for me is this at the minute. This is my main thing. This is my Monday. And everything revolves around this, and then I've got other things that now spiral off this, but yeah, it's about keeping spiritually grounded and leveled.
Yeah,
because we're constantly pulled left and right, whether it be through the music I listen to. Some days I might want to just listen to some aggressive hip hop or some metal music, and I know that on a spiritual level will have an effect on my cells and my water. So I know
we've got to be careful now, you know, really, because everything's about frequency now. We've got to be careful what we listen to, we've got to be careful what we watch.
Yes.
as well, you know, because we need to try and keep our vibration high, and all these things are trying to, you know, to lower it.
I've just started meditating again. I hadn't meditated for honestly like 6 months. Just couldn't do it. I didn't want to look after myself. I didn't want to do any self-care.
Like a self-sabotage.
Yeah, massively. Didn't want to do it. I was like, why would I want to look after myself? I'll get another takeaway, I'll eat shit, I'll smoke another cigarette, and I'll not move.
Yeah. Well, the secret to everything, really, to all spiritual development, is self-love, really, because if you think about it, you know, we're meant to be loving others, but you know, you can't love others from an empty cup if you've got nothing in here.
Right.
You know, so we have to give to ourselves first.
Yeah. Right. I think because of my job, I've always looked for like proof that I'm good at my job from strangers.
Like validation.
Validation. Yeah. And I think that all ties back to obviously possibly father and stuff, but
well, yeah, the stuff I work with is, you know, it's a lot about what I call getting the flowers on the inside, because, you know, we think that, let's say if I say, oh, I have love because my husband loves me. Well, if my husband gets run over by a bus, I no longer have love.
Right. Oh, yeah, exactly.
So if it can be taken away, it's not yours. So if I have love inside me, for myself, for the divine, for the world, for everybody, then I have love, and it cannot be, you know, taken away. Same thing with, you know, money, with joy, with abundance, with success, with health, with wealth. You know, all of these things, we have to have those flowers on the inside. We have to develop them. So really, we don't need anything from anybody else.
Wow.
Yeah, that just indicates there's a lack.
Yeah, absolutely. They're concerned in the comments that you're talking yourself down, Sean. Shin says, nobody's above anybody. We stand side by side. Don't talk yourself down, Sean. Freckles says, Sean, you're helping lots of people. And that is the thing, Sean, is that you actually are those followers that you're, Ray says, Sean now has mental freedom. Yeah, those followers that you talk about, I've seen the comments anyway, and people are extremely grateful to you. Loving the guidance, Dawn Paul says, human creative, absolutely. And you have to choose, be bitter or get better. Well, I think that's a really interesting comment. Thank you. Absolutely. God, these are going so quick. Lol, Sean, so true. Have to make the effort to be kind to yourself. And that is the thing. When you talk about those flowers inside, Dawn, what about if you actually do start off with essentially weeds, right? And you've been sort of neglected. But you know what I mean? You've been neglected as a child, and your root hasn't taken place and everything. How can you heal thyself?
Well, I think you can do a certain amount of self-healing, but I always think it's good to have somebody to help you. You know, if I've got an issue, I go to somebody else, because sometimes we can't see things ourselves, you know. And if we've got weeds, it's about, you know, well, some weeds are beautiful, you know, and really it's about looking at, why did we choose these parents or these situations? And it's about understanding that we did choose them, you know. So in my tradition, the shamanic tradition, we're taught that the earth is our mother, the sun is our father, and the biological parents are there to give us our spiritual lessons, the lessons that we wanted to learn as souls. So rather than looking at it from the ego mind, which is, he did this, she did that.
Right. Which is where my mind instantly went to, right? I'm like, well, my father left at 3, so how could he? Right.
Yeah. So it's very easy to go, oh yes, and so the ego mind always wants us to be in this victim place, because it doesn't want us going on a spiritual journey, because then we might not be safe. Yes, it wants us lying on the sofa till we're 97, not doing anything.
Right.
So it's about, well, what did I learn from my father? And so if Sean came in to learn self-love, if parents are all lovely and marvelous, it's not going to be hard for you to learn it, is it? Yeah. So it's that challenge, and it's also about understanding that really everybody's operating on projection. So, you know, how can a child be unlovable? They're not.
Right.
How can a child be blamed for anything? They can't. So often it's about the parents' issues. The parents maybe could not love. Why could they not love? You know, in my book, I think there was a statement that, you know, it's the parents. What did the parents go through? really, so it's about looking at when you can come into the heart and the soul rather than the ego mind,
right?
But why couldn't they love? What happened to them? My mum struggled with it, but her mum didn't show her any love,
right?
Really, no hugs, nothing.
Yeah, I feel like that's a lot for my family as well. And then maybe that's my ego. Mine then goes to blame them, but I know they're not to blame either.
Yeah, everyone really is a light being. Yeah, and they're made of light, and they're like actors in your place. So if you imagine, you in Coronation Street.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
Sorry. But so imagine that you run Coronation Street and you're giving out all the scripts. So you're a character and they're characters, and you say, you treat me like this. This is really what we do before we incarnate. So it's like, you treat me like this because I need to learn this. So they're really actors in your play trying to help you to evolve.
I love it. I love those little light bulb moments. They just I come from that. My mum was a medium. I grew up around a seance table. It's like, I didn't realize until I moved to London at 18 that not everybody believed in spirits. I thought that was a given. I thought it was a given, that you saw your best mate who died at 13 and you heard her. I thought everybody went through those sort of experiences. And so I think in that respect, I was kind of given a head start. Even though everybody thought I was insane and nutty at 18, talking about these things and hearing voices and seeing things, which I do. And have always done, and follow very much after my mum in that respect. But that's really downplayed in our culture, and I feel that we need to lose the stigma of that, really.
Yeah. I think everybody's in a different place in the journey as well, and it's about trying to, as you were saying, Sean, it's about not blaming really, and understanding that really what's true, and this is what the soul does. I saw somebody that's caused me a lot of pain in my life. I had a dream about them, and they were at the end of the table, like a boardroom table, and they were banging on it like this and shouting at me, and all of a sudden, like they unzipped, and the little radiant toddler version of them walked across the table, kissed me on the forehead, went back into the body, and then was zipped up, and then started carrying on like this. So it's about that's really what it's all about. So if you can see it's all there to help you to evolve as a soul, then it takes the whole victim part out of it, and then you can heal, and then you can see that they aren't weeds. They were never weeds.
They
just needed watering. There were roses that needed watering.
There were roses, and then if there are weeds, you can take them out. You don't have to carry them with you. This is the basis of my work. This, whatever it is, might have happened to you, but it does not need to define you.
No.
But I find, I've been doing this 19 years, I think, this year. I find that it's really not about what happens to people that's the problem. It's about what they've done to themselves.
Yes.
I had a client who was starved by her mother. The mother used to think it was fun. So she just watched the child just go, it was awful. And I think she was in America somewhere. It was about 15 years ago now. And I said, she was about 35, had a good job. And I said, well, what did you have to eat today, just as a matter of interest? And she was like, oh, well, I woke up late. I didn't have any breakfast, had 2 pieces of sushi at lunchtime. And then before I called you, I had a very small tub of ice cream. So I said, not very nutritious, is it? And I said, so, when we look at, let's say we leave home at 18, we look at that level of abuse, which we can't do anything about because we're young, and then, but when we're free, when we're sort of an adult, then we normally find that the period of abuse of ourselves has been much longer. So really, who is our biggest abuser? It's normally us.
Wow. Well, I think that's a truth bomb and a half there, Dawn. Thank you so much for joining us. There's so much, you've kicked stuff off here. Like the comments, people are going deep into their family relationships, which are wonderful. And that's the whole point. I really want people to have a sort of different emotional experience when they're watching Rise, and to get different things out of it, whether that is knowledge of the world or knowledge of self.
Yeah.
And and I love the fact that you're unapologetic about your spirituality. And I absolutely love that, because some people are just so shy about it and so worried about being ridiculed and everything.
It's hard, isn't it? When I was on a 6-figure salary at a bank in 2004.
Look at that.
And I had a vision at Machu Picchu telling me to do this work. Everybody thought I was completely mental.
Wow.
I mean, my parents were like, you studied for years, for this job. Why are you giving it up to play with some stones and to do things that people did in the olden days? And I had people calling me like a devil worshipper. I mean, everyone was just like, are you completely mad?
Right.
And I was like, I have to do this. I've been looking for it for 25 years. I didn't know I was supposed to be a shaman. I mean, you don't get told at birth you do this, but then everything made sense. All of the illness that I'd had, and as you say, Sonia, that I was always aware of another reality at a very small age. So this is hard one for me. I'm not going to be ashamed of it. People can think what they think, but if I had gone, oh, okay, then well, I'll stay at the bank then, yes, I would have had a big pension, which was really upsetting, and lots of money, but thousands and thousands of people would not have had the healing that they needed.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So in these days we can't afford to hide. I think we've got a limited amount of time to really rise.
Yes, lovely.
And so it's about really getting out there and doing it, but really don't see yourself, whatever's happened to you, don't see yourself as a victim. And remember, really, this is not reality. This is not reality. This is where we come and learn and grow.
Yeah.
So if you can understand that, what would be the point of coming here, not learning or growing?
Right.
Nothing happening.
Exactly. Sissy says, thanks, Dawn. Deefer says, wow, fascinating. Chris says, you've inspired me to stop eating chocolate and losing weight. Thank you.
Oh, great.
Ray says, best chat ever. And Rara says, you carry on your own abuse because that is what you've got used to. Yes. Yeah.
And people do that in relationships as well. So I see a lot where somebody's had maybe a difficult relationship with, a woman's had a difficult relationship with a father, perhaps, and then they've got exactly the same relationship with their husband or their boyfriend.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. And
it's just we're terrible for being in these comfort zones, even though we know it's
painful. It's painful. It's ridiculous, isn't it? London lady said, I had to find my family first before addressing anything. Lol. Well, I'm glad you did, London lady.
Yes,
lovely stuff, says Sissy. Angie says, we all seem to go deep on a Monday. Great stuff. Yes. You are not so mental. Fantastic show today, says London lady. Thank you. Wow, extremely fascinating. As Dawn Paul read the 10th Insight, says Human Creative. I don't know the 10th Insight.
Yes, I believe so. I read thousands of books, to be perfectly honest. But yes, I believe so. Yes, I have. Yeah.
Freckle says, can't be a bit of self-reflection. Absolutely. Sissy says, Dawn, you are sensitive and amazing. Simon says, Clive and Dawn are amazing. Self-care is essential. Great guests. Absolutely. And we are grateful to all of them, all of our guests, all of our wonderful guests, selected with care, people. These are not people off of a conveyor belt. These are people who we believe can add something to a conversation, whatever that is, whether that's Canadian truckers or spirituality, as Dawn just has. Thank you so much for staying with us over time, Dawn. We really appreciate having you this morning.
Thank you, Sonia, for putting this together and allowing this to get out there, really.
Well, I also have to thank somebody for that as well, and that is BNT and Mohammed. But so there's always somebody.
Yes, thank you for that.
Each one teach
nice
one.
To see you, Sean.
Thank you. Lovely to meet you.
Lovely to see you. Lovely to see you. Hope to see you. Oh, I've just gone. Listen, take good care of yourself, Dawn. And see you soon.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Lovely to see you. Right, I've just come back onto FaceTime. And there we go. And let's just read some comments.